have
was
any
yours.
idea. I have no idea.
So
whether or
could
not.
have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. There could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence.
No, actually, it wasn't Russian intelligence. The former director of national intelligence, John Radcliffe, he debunked that theory back in October of last year. And new evidence from a retired FBI special agent revealed by our next guest points to it actually being his laptop. Here with his exclusive report is investigative journalist, New York Times bestselling author and founder of Just the News, John Solomon. John, welcome back. How are you?
It's great to be with you.
So the signature expert says that this is Hunter's signature. Is that correct? And if so, what's the sort of the next step in this?
Yeah, it's a very significant finding. Wayne Barnes is one of the most decorated and trusted agents in the history of the FBI when it comes to signature matching. He's a guy that helped catch old Soviet spies during the Cold War using signature matching and other great counterintelligence tactics. He's a very well respected among generations of FBI agents. And I asked him to take a look at this receipt that was signed the day that the Hunter Biden laptop was dropped off at Delaware, because as you've heard, Hunter Biden has tried to dodge and suggest maybe the laptop was stolen from him, maybe the Russians got it. The signature on that receipt clearly and unequivocally matches Hunter Biden's other signatures in the public domain, including on his driver's license, on his Social Security card, on documents for the deeds to his homes. Wayne Barnes did a month-long comparison, is emphatic. There's not any doubt in his mind Hunter Biden signed that signature. This puts to rest one of the many lies we were fed during the 2020 election and the Ukraine impeachment. Let's go through those, right, real quickly. We were told Joe Biden never did anything to assist his son. We now have photos of a meeting with his son's business partners on multiple occasions, not one business partner, multiple. We were told that the Biden diplomat who was in Ukraine during 2016 knew nothing about Burisma except what she read in the newspaper. We found out she met repeatedly with Burisma and Hunter Biden colleagues, and was reporting very sensitive information to the State Department, including the fact that Burisma allegedly made a bribe while Hunter Biden was on the board. And then we were told, that's not Hunter Biden's laptop, that's Russian disinformation. Hunter Biden's signature is on the receipt. He is the man who dropped off that laptop.
Well, John, I want to press you on that because some might be listening saying, wow, this sounds too good to be true. I want to show our viewers the actual signatures from Hunter Biden versus the signatures in question, which are on the right, you're looking at on your screen. How can you be certain this is not forgery?
Well, listen, I'm not an expert, right? I haven't done this, and I know where the limitations of my expertise ends. But Wayne Barnes is. We actually showed more than a half dozen signature experts the signatures. Almost all of them to a T said this is Hunter Biden's signature. There are unique aspects of how the R and the B are larger than the H, that there's no evidence of tracing there's a natural fluidity to the writing. In the story, there are many comparison points. I put out the whole 24-page report so people could read every part of the comparison analysis. But we did over a half dozen people. Most people didn't want their name put to it because of the partisan environment. Agent Barnes was kind enough to not only write a detailed report, but stick his name to his analysis. And he's somebody that the FBI has long respected.
John, during the Trump administration, I mean, there was almost not a day, and I'm probably exaggerating a little there, but there's probably close to not a day when Ivanka, Eric, Don weren't in the news for some speculation of what they could be doing or should have done, or something that happened in kindergarten. But yet, here you are with a signature match to this. We've seen, texts, photos, emails regarding a whole bunch of stuff: illegal drug use, nefarious business things, racist texts, right? We said at the beginning of this, award-winning New York Times bestseller, but you were the AP bureau chief. You have been a very well-established journalist in this town. Why is no one but John Solomon reporting on this? If this was Trump, it would be everyone. And yet you have now a top FBI agent basically saying unequivocally, yes. Where's the rest of the press corps?
Well, they've been AWOL for 5 or 6 years, right? And let's be honest about it. I don't know. I think we grew up an entire new generation of journalists that have become causal journalists. They don't look at the facts neutrally and try to give a factual presentation to the American public. They try to come up with a story and then fit the facts into it. You saw this from the podium every day at the White House. It is a phenomenon that deeply troubles me. I was attacked relentlessly, smeared after a 30-year stellar career, having won almost every journalism award you could think of. I was smeared relentlessly for reporting on Hunter Biden and Burisma. Every fact that I reported not only has stood the test of time, it's been confirmed by lawsuits and revelations and the information on this. The American media have decided to pick sides.
Not one question. John, there was a White House briefing today. There was a White House briefing. Not only that, the president himself spoke to reporters. Not one reporter asked a single question. This is incredible. What a dereliction of duty.
That's why the American people hold the news media today in such low regard, below Congress, below many other institutions. My profession has earned that distinction by picking sides, by being dishonest, by not correcting the record, by not being neutral. Listen, if this was Donald Trump's kids and I had the same laptop, I'd be writing the same story tonight. It doesn't matter who it is. It matters that they're in power, and it's our job to check people in power. But a large part of my profession have given up at least half of that checking power by not looking at liberals and Democrats and giving them a pass.
Wow. Well, John Solomon, thank you for exposing this. We got to keep exposing it. Hopefully people will start paying attention, put it in their face until they do. But appreciate what you're doing, and thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Lizzie. Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.